Hi guys, it's Brittany. So today I'm going to do a Jurassic Park tag video, and my friend Martin tagged me in this, so thank you, Martin. I'm going to do this uh, Jurassic Park tag video, and I know I should have done it in June, but I'm doing it now. Okay, so favorite movie in the franchise and why? That's a good question. Now, my favorite movie in the franchise would have to be the first one, Jurassic Park, and and why that is because it's the very first one. It's where it all happened. That's where it all started. You know, the chaos, the well, what else do you call it? Like not just the chaos of it, but the uh, I think the nostalgic of it as well because it's like here's the funny thing. It's like on one hand I do agree with what what Ian Malcolm says. Even though I agree what he says in the movie to what he says to John Hammond, it's like yet I can't help but to love how crazy and scary it gets in the movie because I love it, especially with the T Rex it's a because of course when it's like I'm sorry, trying to say it when trying to approach or if you are approaching a T-Rex is somewhat intimidating because it's this huge carnivore. It's one of the largest carnivores that ever lived, and it lived in the late Cretaceous period. So that's why Jurassic Park's my favorite because that's where it all started. That's where everything happened. That's where when things go completely wrong, and that's where just things just start to happen. And it's like even though it might be intense and scary, at the same time it's like you want the characters to be safe, but at the same time you can't help but to love the chaos of it, of what's going on. So I can relate to that. Just loving everything. And why I think is also because when I watched it, even as a kid, now maybe to some people that the T Rex maybe kind of scared them at first. I know it scared me, but that was only because I was a baby. I was a year old when it came out, so I think when I was maybe one, two, three, and four, I think I was still somewhat scared. But I think when I got a bit older, like maybe six, seven, eight, nine. I think somewhere around 6 years old. I think that's when I started to. Here's the thing, because I think around 6 years old, I have no memory of being so terrified of the T Rex. I have no memory of that at all. But I, with me, I just mostly remember being like six, seven, eight, nine, 10, and just loving, not just the movie, but the T Rex, and just being so fascinated by it. Like, wow, like just being so blown away by the T Rex and by everything. And I think that's why Jurassic Park changed, like in a way that the movie itself changed. Changed in a way, like on future generations, in movies, because everything about it was just new and different at the time because it was the first CGI movie that ever came out. Okay, so that's why, why I love it. I love everything about it. I do, and I've mentioned it before in my other videos. Favorite character in the franchise and why? Well, I do. There are some characters I do like. My favorite character I would have to say is, of course, Ian Malcolm. And why? Because I think in a way he's realistic. Like in a way, he knows that what John Hammond is doing is wrong. Because you can't go and do something uh, that is just not really right to do. It's kind of like it in a way. It's kind of like resurrecting dinosaurs, but of course, in a way that's different. Because of course, you can't really go to the dinosaurs' gravesite and do that from there because they've been extinct like so many years ago that there's no um there's no any evidence of flesh or blood that you can do that just from their gravesite. So of course they did it in such a way that was very different, and of course to bring them back, like even though that was a very wrong thing to do, it's like yet they went ahead and did it anyway. But yeah, that's why he's my favorite character because even though he knows it's wrong, at the same time, I just like how he's sarcastic and the things he says. So I like his personality um, and throughout the movies. Because, like I said, even though I completely agree what he says, especially to John Hammond in the first one, even though it's like, even though I'm on his side completely, at the same time, I can't help but to love the chaos and the scary, intense parts in the movie, that goes on. But of course, in real life, I would say no, 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 no. I think in real life that'll be like a big no, like no, don't. But like, of course, don't do that. But I think that because since this is a movie, it's different. So that's why, even though I agree what he says, like sorry, even though I agree what you said, I can't help but just to love what's going on in the movie. But yeah, that's why I love his character because at least he's not being, at least in a way, he's not like saying like, oh yeah, go ahead, do what you want. At least he's being realistic about it and saying like, whoa, wait a minute, don't you see what you're doing here? You know, so that's why. Favorite kill or attack in the franchise? Huh, that's interesting. Um, I don't know. I think I would have to say maybe my favorite attack or kill scene would have to be in Jurassic Park. Um, I would have to say it would have to be where the Dilophosaurus sees Dennis Nedry and just you know attacks him. Now, of course it does approaches him, but the one thing I don't like what he says to the Dilophosaurus is like saying when he says, "No wonder you're extinct," and saying, "I'm gonna run you over when I get down." Like, you don't say that. So yeah, I didn't even like it. The fact that he called it stupid. I mean, you don't call a dinosaur that. You don't even call an animal that, not even to another human being. Well, unless if they do something that's stupid, then yeah, maybe just point that out. But besides that, you don't call an a dinosaur that's been extinct and has been brought to life for this park, this park on the island. You don't call it that. It's a dinosaur. I mean, what do you expect it for it to do, like to accept that, like, uh-uh. So yeah, I think that's why that's my favorite scene, because the fact that what he said, and even the fact that of what he was planning to do in the first place, to get off the island and to get those 15 dinosaur embryos that were in a can and give them to that guy Dawson, and for him to give him the reward money, which was how much? Like somewhere seven, like $750,000. That is a lot. I think it was around there. But because that was his plan to do that, because he had those intentions, I'm just glad that he never got off the island to get his reward money. And I'm glad that the guy never able got to receive those dinosaur embryos in the first place. So I'm glad that in a way that the Dilophosaurus got to spit in his face, with a poison, because that was venom. So I'm glad it's just spit in his face with venom. And by the time he got into the Jeep, that it was in there and it killed him. Now, of course, in a way, I'm glad it didn't show how graphic that could have been, because yeah, then I would have been like, okay, this is too much. But I'm just glad they showed it off screen, where it just shows like it's shaking, you know, like the Jeep is shaking. So it's like, okay, now we know he's been killed off. Okay, you're bad. Okay, so that's, I would have to say, my favorite scene in the movie. I mean, I know it's graphic and all that, but you know, he was a bad guy. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say about that? Like, oh, poor thing. Uh, I don't know. I he got what he deserved. Okay, last question. What dino are you looking forward to see or like to see in the future of the franchise? Well, of course, I'm always looking forward to see the T Rex, known as Rexy in the movie. Um, I'm also looking forward to see other dinosaurs as well, like oh, I'm not sure if this has been shown in any Jurassic Park movie, but Iguanodon. Yeah, you know how like the movie Dinosaur, because Aladar, he was a um I think that's how you say it. Iguanodon? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how to say it at the moment. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I've never seen Iguanodon in a Jurassic Park movie, and I would love to see that. That's, I think, one dinosaur I would love to see. Any carnivore dinosaurs? Nothing that I can think of right now. But I am hoping that even in the future, in other future Jurassic Park movies, I hope in a way that can still show more like velociraptors and T Rex as well. Because I love T Rex. And to me, it's like, if they no longer show, let's say, velociraptors or even T Rexes in the movies, I would be sad. Because I'll be like, well, where are they? Like, this is what makes Jurassic Park, and Jurassic World, like, is because you got the dinosaurs, including the ones that are most, what do you call it? Even like the ones that are probably most favored, you know, by anyone, like the Velociraptors and the T Rex. Like, I would love to see more of that. I would, because seeing the velociraptors and the T-Rex is like, yes, you know. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this tag video. Like I said before, I hope to do more tag videos soon, and I will. And to be honest, I never done a tag video myself, so maybe that's something I could do. Maybe later this month, maybe next month. I don't know. But anyway, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I had fun doing this video. So that is all for today, and I'll see you at the movie.